but then we switch over and we melt things. We melt so hard. Look at all that melting. Look how much damage it does difference, right? Alright, welcome to the Building Team Foundation class. Today we're going to go over how to make a team that you can use for most of the content. So basically we want to avoid switching out, we want to avoid running into problems where we don't have the right element, etc. Alright, the reason why is because our resources are limited. You kind of really want to figure out who to use before you start using them, and I know that means that you basically don't know who to use, and so it's kind of like you gotta research. If you don't research and you just play, sadly the game does punish you. The game really rewards commitment to your characters. Alright, so firstly, you can pretty much play however you want. It doesn't really matter who you use to an extent, but there are teams that are more efficient than other teams. So every character, I would say, goes under one of the three main roles, and those three main roles are Main DPS, Support DPS, such as Official, and then we have the support or the healers slash shielders. So in my case, it will be Barbara and like kinda Chi-Chi. And now we'll go into explaining them a bit more. So we have the main DPS, right? Main DPS are normally very selfish, right? Because none of their skills, none of their talents really help anybody else. Right, so a normal attack is normal attack. We have Serial Onslaught. This is just for Diluc to do damage. Same thing for this, it just does mad damage. It just shoots out a phoenix that just is wide as fuck. And then we look at his Relentless. His Relentless affects his own move. Blessing of the Phoenix makes his Pyro enchantment for himself. Diluc gains 20% pyro damage bonus during the duration of this effect. Right, he doesn't really help anybody else. So he's what you call a main DPS. Next up we have the support DPS. And what I mean by support DPS is that if you look at Faishul, right, Knight Rider, for the ability's duration, Oz will continuously attack nearby enemies with Frekukul. I don't know how to say that. Anyways, what's good about her is that Oz stays in the field regardless of whether she is there or not. So she summons, there's Oz, switch, still there, switch, still there, still there. And then Oz is dealing damage. Therefore, she's a support DPS. Her skills can still work, even though she's not on the field. So we look at this one. If your active character triggers, active character means that it's not Faishul. It could be anybody. It could be Diluc. She's still doing work, even when she's not on the field. Therefore, she's a support DPS. Lastly, we have the healers and the shielders, the true supports, I guess, right? And so with Barbara, for example, this is very straightforward. Straight up, she just does a lot of healing. So, alright, so we look at Melody Loop. It summons these musical notes that form this circle, and they deal hydro damage to surrounding opponents and applies wet. So if we stay on Barbara and then we attack while her E is up, her normal attacks will heal her party members, and then it periodically regenerates your active character's HP. So if you switch to Diluc, it will heal Diluc. Alright, so I'm going to turn on her E. Right? When I attack, if you pay attention to the right, you see Diluc's HP is going back up. Yes? And now if we switch over to Diluc, wait a bit, we'll see that he gets healed. Alright, watch again to the right, Diluc's HP is slightly low, use her Q, it's just a straight up heal. And yeah, if we look at her Q just to make sure, it literally just heals. Most characters can fit into one of these three roles, and if they can't, then I would say you can pretty much fit them into a combination of one of the three roles. Chi-Chi is a bit of a hybrid, right? So she's mainly support. Her E periodically regenerates your active character's HP, same as Barbara. So we've got her E, and then see how it spins? It will spin around and then hit opponents for a bit of damage. Her Q, so there's a multiplier right there that does skill damage. It's not just heal. So yeah, she's a bit of a support DPS, but she's mainly a support as a healer. So we have hybrids like that. Now, my recommendation for any team comp would be, so this was a team that I showed you, that you saw at the start of the video. And so this is basically one main DPS, two support DPS, and one support. I've used this team pretty much since the start of playing this game, and I haven't really switched it out since. So the next rule for making a team is to avoid using two of the same elements. So as you can see in the main team, we have Electro, Pyro, Anemo, and Hydro. Right? I have different elements. So if you go into the world, you know that there are all these different puzzles that require different elements to solve, and then having to switch to another element is tedious. There's no quick change function for team members, and then you also can't switch teams during fights, right? Which leads on to the next point, enemies, right? When you're in the world, you run into a lot of enemies, different elements, different enemies. So here we have a Cryo Abyss Mage. Yes, you can see the icon on top of his head is Cryo. If we were to use Chi-Chi, I am doing literally nothing to his shield, right? This E is doing nothing. Look how it circles. It does nothing, yeah? And then I switch to Luke. I destroy his shield. Alright? You gotta have the right elements. Alright, so Chi-Chi's E did nothing before, but check this out. Look at how it breaks down this guy's shield, because it's the right elements, right? The shield is going down, and then it's gone. Alright, so it really matters what elements you're using, and then you really want to have the right elements for the right situation, and so it just pays to have. I just want to get the heals. Right, so it really pays to have the right elements, and so the more you have, the better. So we just talked about having the right elements can help deal with certain enemies in the sense of breaking their shields, but the right elements also means dealing big damage for elemental reactions. So let's say here we have that we're doing superconduct, right? It's doing some damage, right? It's still nice, but then we switch over and we melt things. We melt so hard. Look at all that melting. Look how much damage it does difference, right? I mean, yes, you know, I'm showing the Luke versus Faishul, but you get my point. So Venti's a Nemo, he does his E, they're immune, right? Does nothing. It's useless. Look at this. I'm only doing physical damage because his bow is physical damage. We need something else. And boom. Alright, everything's gone. You gotta have the right element so that you can do elemental reactions, so that you can break shields. You gotta have the right element, and so the more you have in your party, the better. Oh, sorry. Ignore my my calculator. That was because Chi-Chi started saying stuff, and I was like, wait, what's she saying? She said 7234, 7234, and then she said 5677, 567. Yeah, ignore that. My bad. A core feature of this game, I would say, is that it really plays around using different elements, and so I just don't think it's a good idea to have even two of the same element, right? Because then if you have two of the same element, you still have three elements, but it's still not good in my opinion, right? It limits how many elements you can have, and so it just makes the game a bit more frustrating, annoying to play. Okay, and so to summarize one more time, you want one main DPS, two support DPSs, and one support on your team. That would be the ideal, right? And then you want to make sure all of them are different elements. And that's pretty much it. Like, that's literally TLDR. And I would like to talk a bit more about a Nemo and Geo element, because that is kind of like another thing that makes the game more complex. It's kind of outside the realm of elements, even though they are elements, because they have different reactions, right? It's different how, compared to Pyro, Hydro, Cryo, and Electro, they react to each other all pretty much to do damage, whereas Anemo and Geo kind of do something a bit different. But the thing is, I've already given you so much information, so I think that's enough for today. So I hope that this video has helped you. I hope it helps you understand better of how to make a team, and then what team to stick to, and then hopefully your resources won't go to waste, right? I'll be streaming soon on Twitch, so come on over to chill or ask questions. It'll be at 6 PM UTC plus 11, which will be about a few hours from the release of this video. Hit that like and subscribe if you found this video useful, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you, bye bye. Oh, actually, before that, I randomly suggested to do cloud of the day or cloud of the video every time, so we're gonna go ahead and look for a cloud, because I find that the clouds in this game look really nice. So we're gonna see what cloud looks nice here. Oh damn, that's a Geo. I thought that was a cloud. This is kind of tough today, finding a cloud of the day. Oof, kind of tough. I would have to say probably this cloud right here is best looking cloud because of how it glows on the edges thanks to the moon. Right. Yeah, this will probably be cloud of the day. I don't want to skip time because I want to, find whatever is available. So yeah, this should be cloud. I mean, actually, this one's pretty nice too. Actually, this one might be nicer. It has more of a better outlining of a glow. So maybe this one's better. Yeah, let's make this one the cloud of the day. Yeah. Alright, cool. See you in the next video.